until you walk close enough to feel their breath. For years, people have asked me what America really looks like. Beyond the postcards, the skyscrapers, the songs about freedom. And every time, I hesitate. Not because the truth is hard to see, but because it is uncomfortable to accept. After decades wandering its cities and deserts, its dreamlike coastlines and its forgotten back alleys, I've learned that the brightest lights often cast the darkest shadows. Sometimes they stretch so long, they touch everything. Tonight, I want to show you a side of the United States few ever talk about. Not to judge it, not to shame it, but to bear witness. Because every country has its scars, and this one just happens to hide them behind billions of dollars of neon. If you're new here, my name is simply the Old Observer. I don't appear on camera, I don't raise my voice, I only tell what I've seen. And if you'd like to keep traveling through the unseen corners of our world with me, feel free to subscribe to Fascinating Discoveries. Your presence helps these stories find the people who need them. What you're about to hear is a journey through 15 shadows of America. Shadows shaped by choices, by ambition, by neglect, by hope, and sometimes by pure accident. I've walked through many of these places myself. Other times, I stood still and listened to the people who lived there. Their words still echo in me, long after the camera stopped rolling. So sit with me for a while. Let's peel back the curtain gently, quietly, and look at the side of America that postcards never show. Number 1. The green tent cities. I still remember the first time I stepped onto a sidewalk in San Francisco and realized the ground beneath my feet belonged to two different worlds. One world held polished glass towers that caught the morning sun like blades. The other was made of thin blue tents, sagging under the weight of cold nights and colder realities. And between them, just a few steps, sometimes no more than the width of a street. People like to call this place the heart of innovation, the cradle of ideas that changed humanity. But beneath that shimmering promise lies another city, quiet, raw, and painfully human. I've walked through the Tenderloin in the early hours, when the air is thick with damp concrete and cigarette smoke. I've seen a man boil water in a dented soda can, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I've watched a young woman clip her laundry between two streetlights, her faded clothes swaying above the sidewalk, catching the breeze that the skyscrapers blocked from reaching the sky. Some people avert their eyes when they pass these tents. Others hurry their steps, clutching their $7 lattes as if the warmth in the cup could shield them from the truth. But if you pause, just pause, you'll hear life pulsing through these makeshift streets. Someone laughing at a joke too sad to be funny. Someone humming an old song. Someone staring into the distance as if asking the world why it forgot their name. California holds more than 180,000 people without a home. Numbers that look clinical on a chart. But when you walk past tent after tent, they no longer feel like statistics. They feel like stories left unfinished. And what strikes me every time is how fragile the line is. This thin sheet of fabric between the dream America sells and the reality some people sleep in. A sudden illness, a lost job, a single mistake, and anyone could find themselves here. The ground doesn't discriminate as much as society does. I've traveled through slums in distant countries, but somehow the quiet despair of these American sidewalks cuts deeper. Maybe because it sits right next to unimaginable wealth. Maybe because it whispers a truth people try so hard not to hear. That a nation can be powerful, yet still lose sight of its own people. Number 2, the stolen paradises. They always show Hawaii as a dream. Blue water so clear it looks painted, palm trees swaying like they're performing just for the camera, sunsets that melt into the ocean with impossible colors. But dreams can be stolen too. And on these islands, the theft didn't happen overnight. It crept in quietly, one overpriced home at a time, one luxury resort at a time, one family forced to pack their memories and leave the land their ancestors shaped. I remember standing on Oahu one morning, watching the sun rise over neighborhoods where half the houses sat empty. Not abandoned, just owned by people who only visited a few weeks a year. Meanwhile, the locals who once fished these shores and built these communities were being pushed farther and farther away. A home on this island now costs more than $1 million, a number so high it feels almost cruel when spoken aloud. In Maui, after the fires of 2023, I walked past hotels where displaced families were living in rooms designed for tourists, not for healing. They told me rents had jumped by more than half. They told me friends who survived the flames couldn't survive the new prices. And as I listened, I kept wondering how a place so full of beauty could feel so full of loss. Paradise is supposed to be a refuge. But here, it has become a privilege, one that the people who made it paradise can no longer afford. And Hawaii isn't alone. In Key West, massive cruise ships arrive every day, leaving behind noise, waste, and fatigue that settles into the bones of those who call the island home. The turquoise water remains stunning, but there's a quiet exhaustion beneath it, like the island is carrying more than it was meant to bear. I've traveled to many beautiful places in my life, but the ones that haunt me most are often not the ones that were ruined by storms or time, but the ones taken by money. A paradise is not just a beach. It is the people who shape its rhythm, its laughter, its stories. When the people leave, the beauty stays. But it feels hollow, like a song missing its voice. Number 3, the land of endless noise. Silence. It's a sound we don't notice until it disappears. And in America, it has disappeared almost completely. I've crossed this country from the coasts to the deserts, from steel-filled cities to endless highways, and one thing follows you everywhere: the noise. A constant hum that wraps itself around daily life like an invisible net. In Los Angeles, mornings begin with car horns echoing off apartment walls. In New York, construction drills carve into the air even before the sun has fully risen. And at night, when most of the world softens, American cities refuse to rest. Airplanes roar overhead, traffic never stops, neon signs buzz like restless insects. People call it white noise, as if giving it a name makes it easier to live with. But when 97% of a population lives inside noise pollution, it stops being background. It becomes reality. I remember staying in a tiny motel in Houston once, expecting the long drive to give me a quiet night. Instead, freight trains passed so close that the walls trembled. Each rumble felt like a reminder that in this country, motion never ends, and stillness is a luxury only a few places can afford. Some Americans have never experienced true quiet, not the kind where you can hear your own breath, or the faint rustle of trees, or your thoughts settling gently like dust on a windowsill. I once visited Fort Collins, Colorado, one of the few towns where nights are calm enough for silence to feel natural. People there told me they sleep better, think clearer, even breathe softer. It's strange how something so simple, an absence of noise, can feel like a gift. But in most cities, the noise becomes a second heartbeat. Children grow up beneath airplane routes. Workers eat lunch to the soundtrack of drills and sirens. Even lovers whisper over the hum of machinery, and eventually, people stop noticing. They accept the loudness as normal, even when it quietly steals their rest, their patience, and sometimes their health. Noise is a shadow you cannot see. But once it settles in your life, it becomes part of who you are. Number 4, 2 shades of the American dream. The American dream, People around the world speak of it like a promise carved in stone. A land where hard work opens every door, where freedom belongs to everyone, where opportunity waits patiently for whoever reaches out to claim it. But after years wandering through its cities and forgotten corners, I've learned that this dream has two shades, one bright, one dim, both painfully real. I once walked through a wealthy neighborhood on the north side of Chicago. Every lawn was trimmed perfectly. Every porch glowed with warm lights. Every car looked new enough to still have the scent of the dealership. Children laughed as they rode bicycles down wide, clean streets. Their parents sipped coffee in front of homes that cost more than some entire towns I've visited. Later that same day, just a few miles away, I found myself in a place where the pavement cracked under my shoes. The houses leaned like tired old men. A mother carried grocery bags in both hands, guiding her son around broken glass on the sidewalk. The sun was the same. The city was the same. The country was the same. But the lives unfolding here felt worlds apart. America ended slavery more than 150 years ago. But inequality has a way of lingering quietly, threading itself through wealth, education, housing, healthcare. In the brighter neighborhoods, kids learn how to build futures. In the darker ones, kids learn how to stay out of danger. And sometimes, the difference is decided not by choices or ambition, but by the color of their skin and the street they were born on. I once sat in a hospital waiting room where a white businessman was greeted with a smile before he even reached the counter. A black grandmother beside me had to repeat her concerns 3 times before anyone looked up. I don't think those moments are always intentional, but the consequences are. People say the American dream is for everyone, and in a way, it is. Everyone can see it, but not everyone can reach it. For many, the edge of opportunity stops just short of their fingertips, no matter how high they stretch. The dream still shines, but its light doesn't fall evenly on every street. Number 5. Ghost malls, when shopping paradises fell silent. There was a time when American malls felt like the beating heart of suburban life. I still remember walking through them as a younger man. Bright lights, echoing footsteps, families sharing greasy pizza in food courts filled with laughter. Teenagers hovered outside record stores, trying to look cool under neon signs. Couples held hands while window shopping, dreaming about futures they hadn't fully imagined yet. Back then, the air smelled of soft pretzels and new clothes. It smelled alive. But nothing stays the same forever, especially not in a country that moves faster than its people can keep up. Today, more than 1,000 malls across America stand silent. The fountains have dried up. The escalators are frozen like broken ribs. Storefronts once filled with mannequins now hold only shadows. Some malls still have dusty Christmas decorations from decades ago, as if time forgot to take them down. I've wandered through a few of these places. Carefully, quietly. The kind of quiet that makes your footsteps sound too loud. Glass crunches under your shoes. Vines creep through cracked skylights. The smell of dust fills your lungs. And sometimes, you feel like the building itself is remembering you, like an old friend who doesn't know why you left. The truth is simple. People stopped coming. Why drive half an hour when you can order everything with a tap on your phone? Convenience won. And these malls, once symbols of American prosperity, became victims of the very progress they helped inspire. What fascinates me most is the new crowd these abandoned places attract. Urban explorers, young people with flashlights and cameras who walk through the ruins capturing haunting photographs, chasing echoes of a world they barely got to see before it vanished. They say the malls feel sacred, like museums of forgotten normalcy. And maybe they are. Because when a mall dies, it's never just a building shutting down. It's the end of a ritual, meeting friends, sharing meals, wasting time together in a world that felt safe enough to linger in. Standing in those empty corridors, I realized something. America doesn't just abandon buildings. Sometimes, it abandons entire eras. Number 6, the tourist traps of America. Tourists come to America imagining fireworks, Hollywood magic, and streets paved with opportunity. They dream of Times Square, this electric forest of screens stacked to the sky, glowing day and night. They picture the Hollywood Walk of Fame, imagining stars that shine as brightly as the people who earned them. But the truth is softer, sadder, and much more human. I've stood in Times Square countless times, watching people lift their phones toward the blazing advertisements above them. From a distance, the square looks like a celebration. Color, sound, motion, life. But on the ground, beneath all that artificial daylight, the cracks start to show. Litter covers the sidewalks. Characters dressed as superheroes tug at tourists, offering a free photo that won't be free once the shutter clicks. Every corner hides a small trap, an overpriced snack, an aggressive street performer, a hand sliding near an open bag. And still, people smile, because Times Square is something they've waited their whole lives to see. Beauty and disappointment often share the same breath here. In Hollywood, the Walk of Fame stretches under the California sun like a promise that's been stepped on too many times. Stars lie cracked, stained with gum, surrounded by souvenir shops selling plastic dreams for too much money. Tour buses idle along the road, their engines coughing in the heat while tourists wait to be driven past gates they'll never enter. The distance between expectation and reality feels heavier here, like a weight pressing into your chest. But what strikes me most in these places isn't the chaos or the crowds. It's the quiet realization that illusions have become part of the local economy. Cities learn to feed on dreams because dreams attract wallets. And visitors, even when they sense the truth, still want to believe in the fantasy for just a moment longer. You can't blame them. Sometimes people travel across the world not to see something new, but to feel something they lost along the way. America knows this better than most. It paints its brightest lights where its shadows are deepest, hoping no one notices the difference. But if you walk slowly, if you let your eyes adjust, you'll see it. The glitter is real. So is the dust beneath it. Number 7. America's burnout work culture. If there is one thing America worships more than freedom, it is work. In this country, ambition is stitched into every billboard, every graduation speech, every commercial promising a better life. But somewhere along the way, the dream of working hard to live well twisted into something darker, working hard simply to stay afloat. I've met countless Americans who carry exhaustion the way others carry backpacks. Nurses who work 12-hour shifts and come home too tired to speak. Office workers who answer emails in bed because silence feels like laziness. Parents who miss dinner with their kids, whispering, "Maybe next week," as if time itself were something they could negotiate. In most wealthy nations, people take 3 or 4 weeks off each year. In America, 10 days is considered generous. And a quarter of workers get nothing at all, not even sick leave. I once watched a barista cough through an entire shift, apologizing to customers as her hands trembled. She told me she couldn't afford to stay home. Missing a day meant missing rent. That sentence has stayed with me like a bruise that never fades. Americans often wear burnout like a badge of honor, proof they're fighting, grinding, pushing forward. But when you look closer, you see the toll, the stress-etched faces, the heart attacks appearing earlier each decade, the quiet moments when someone stares at their computer screen and wonders how life drifted so far from what they once imagined. I remember staying with a friend in New York who worked 60 hours a week. He showed me his balcony view of the city, the skyline glowing like a galaxy of opportunity. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he said. But his voice cracked on the word beautiful, as if he wasn't talking about the city at all, but about a dream he no longer recognized. Work can give meaning, yes, but it can also take pieces of you, your rest, your health, your joy, until all that remains is momentum without direction. America moves fast, maybe too fast for its own people. And sometimes the hardest part isn't keeping up. It's realizing you don't have the choice to slow down. Number 8. A generation living shorter lives than their parents. There is a quiet tragedy unfolding in America. One so unusual, so unthinkable, that even the elders shake their heads in disbelief. For the first time in modern history, a younger generation here may live shorter lives than the parents who raised them. In a nation of cutting-edge hospitals, advanced research, and billion-dollar medical institutions, life itself is slipping backward. I once sat in a small diner in Ohio, listening to a retired factory worker talk about his grandson. "He's 22, the man said, stirring his coffee absent-mindedly. "But he carries stress like he's 60. Outside the window, trucks rumbled by on the highway. A reminder of the long hours, the relentless schedules, the habits that slowly carve away at health until the damage becomes permanent. Across the country, the numbers paint a sobering picture. Shorter lifespans, not because of war, famine, or catastrophe, but because of something quieter. Prescription drug misuse, alcohol dependency, silent battles with depression and anxiety that never make the news. In 2023 alone, deaths tied to mental health and substance struggles surpassed the total American losses of the Vietnam War. That sentence still feels unreal, even as I speak it. I've met young people who look strong on the outside, but their eyes tell another story. Tired, uncertain, stretched thin by pressures they were never taught how to carry. Social isolation, rising costs, a culture that demands constant achievement but rarely offers rest. It's a heavy combination, one that slowly erodes the foundation of a life. What makes it more heartbreaking is that this is happening in a country renowned for innovation. Yet wealth does not guarantee wellness. Technology does not guarantee peace. Hospitals do not guarantee healing, not when the problems begin long before someone walks through their doors. I once visited a small village in Costa Rica, where a farmer, barefoot and smiling, told me he expected to outlive many Americans. Not because he had more money, he had almost none, but because he had balance, purpose, and community. His life moved slowly but steadily, and he seemed content. Sometimes I wonder if progress, when it moves too fast, leaves the human heart behind. A long life isn't measured in machines or medicine. It's measured in well-being, something America, for all its strengths, is still learning to protect. Number 9. OnlyFans, the price of digital independence. The internet promised freedom. Freedom to create, to express, to build a life untethered from traditional rules. And in many ways, it delivered. Platforms like OnlyFans became symbols of modern independence. Earn on your own terms, set your own price, answer to no one. But freedom, when wrapped in bright lights, often hides the fine print in the shadows. I once spoke with a young woman in Las Vegas who had joined OnlyFans during the pandemic. Money flowed quickly at first. She said it felt empowering, like she had reclaimed control over her life. But her voice softened when she told me what came after. Screenshots, copies, private content leaked across the internet, shared in spaces she'd never enter, seen by people she'd never meet. "The moment you upload something," she whispered, "you stop owning it." Her story isn't rare. The platform earns billions each year, built on the choices and vulnerabilities of its creators. And while some find success, Others discover a cost they never anticipated: the permanence of the digital world. Even deleted content lives on in quiet corners of forums and channels, endlessly duplicated. The internet never forgets, especially things meant to stay private. What struck me most wasn't judgment. It was the loneliness in her eyes, the sense of being split in two. The person she wanted to be, and the person strangers thought she was. I've traveled through many cultures, and every society negotiates the price of survival differently. But here in America, where independence is a badge of honor, people sometimes trade pieces of themselves for the chance to breathe financially. And once that trade is made, reversing it becomes nearly impossible. OnlyFans was built as a bridge to opportunity, but for some, it has become a door that closes quietly behind them, locking away a part of their identity they can't fully reclaim. Freedom is beautiful, but when it comes with permanent exposure, it becomes something else. A bargain that asks more from the soul than many realize. Number 10. The clouds that eat electricity and water. People like to imagine the cloud as something light, floating, almost spiritual, a place where photos, memories, and messages drift gently above us. But the truth is heavier, much heavier. The cloud isn't in the sky. It sits on the ground inside massive gray buildings, humming day and night, swallowing electricity and water in amounts almost too large to picture. I once drove through the outskirts of Phoenix, where the desert air is so dry it cracks your lips within minutes. Amid the dust and heat, I saw rows of data centers rising like fortresses, featureless walls, no windows, guarded by fences topped with razor wire. Inside them, millions of servers run non-stop, burning through energy just to keep the digital world alive. And to cool those servers? Water. More water than entire neighborhoods use. Some facilities consume close to 1 million gallons a day. Standing in the desert, where even plants struggle to survive, the absurdity hit me. $1 billion machine drinking more freely than the people living beside it. Nearly half of America's largest data centers operate in drought-stricken areas. I've spoken to locals who worry about their wells running dry, who wonder how long a community can survive when technology is thirsty and the earth has nothing left to give. And electricity, its appetite is just as alarming. These digital giants consume more power than some countries, Poland, for example. And with artificial intelligence expanding, the demand is only growing. The more data we store, the more servers we need. The more servers we build, the more energy we burn. The cycle doesn't pause, it accelerates. I've always believed technology can be a force for good. But watching those data centers shimmer in the desert heat, I felt a strange sadness. As if we'd created a second world, one invisible, intangible, and now spend real resources to keep its ghost alive. A world where every saved photo, every streaming video, every message has a hidden cost measured in watts and gallons. We call it the cloud. But sometimes it feels more like a shadow, one stretching farther than we ever intended. Number 11. The land of endless debt. Debt is a quiet companion in America. It walks beside people like a shadow they never asked for, whispering reminders with every bill, every missed payment, every unexpected emergency. In the world's richest nation, the weight of owing has woven itself into daily life so deeply that many hardly notice it anymore, until it tightens. I once met a young teacher in Boston who told me she was still paying off student loans taken out 15 years earlier. She laughed softly when she said it, the kind of laugh people use when the truth is too heavy to carry plainly. "I'll finish paying when I'm almost 50, she said. Maybe. Her degree cost more than her parents' first home. And she wasn't alone. Across America, more than 40 million people owe money for an education they hoped would lift them higher. Instead, the debt follows them like an unpaid promise. It shapes where they live, what jobs they take, whether they can afford children, whether they can breathe freely at night. Medical debt adds another layer of pressure. I've stood in hospital waiting rooms where fear was split evenly between a diagnosis and the bill that would follow. Even a short visit to the emergency room can push a family to the edge. About 40% of Americans carry medical debt, some hiding it like a scar beneath their clothing, praying a single accident won't collapse their lives entirely. And there's more. Credit cards, mortgages, rising costs trapping people in cycles they never meant to enter. It's strange how debt can feel invisible to outsiders, yet suffocating to those living inside it. I once walked through a suburban neighborhood where every house looked calm, every lawn tidy, every car polished. But behind the closed doors, people juggled payments with trembling hands, hoping the next month wouldn't bring another unexpected blow. Debt doesn't shout. It whispers. It waits. It grows in silence until the silence becomes a burden. And what haunts me most is that so much of this debt comes not from excess or indulgence, but from trying to survive. Education, healthcare, basic needs. Things that should lift people up, but instead pull them down, one interest payment at a time. America dreams big. But dreaming big often requires borrowing even bigger. And too many never escape the grip of what they owe. Number 12. Fast food or fat food. If there is one thing that feels unmistakably American, it is fast food. Bright signs glowing along the highways, drive-through lanes snaking around buildings, the smell of fries drifting into the night like a familiar lullaby. It's convenient, cheap, and everywhere. So deeply woven into American life that entire schedules bend around it. I've driven across this country for years, and no matter where the road led, desert towns, freezing northern highways, crowded suburbs, there was always a place offering a burger, a soda, something quick enough to eat behind the wheel. Fast food became the fuel of a nation moving too quickly to cook, too tired to stop, too stressed to choose anything slower. But convenience always has a hidden cost. More than a third of Americans eat fast food every single day, and nearly half the adult population is now overweight. The numbers keep rising, each statistic a quiet confession that something is deeply out of balance. I once sat inside a McDonald's near St. Louis, watching office workers eat lunch in silence, their eyes glued to their phones, their hands moving automatically. Bite, sip, scroll. A teenager at the next table devoured an oversized meal in minutes, not out of hunger, but habit. The room smelled thick, heavy with salt and oil, a scent I've come to recognize not as comfort, but as surrender. Studies say fast food affects more than the body. It dulls memory, slows thinking, numbs emotion. I didn't need the research to believe it. I've seen it in the tired faces of people rushing through life, using food as a pause button in a world that refuses to slow down. America calls it fast. But sometimes it feels like something else entirely. A cycle that feeds on exhaustion, poverty, routine, and the quiet ache of wanting something easy at the end of a long day. Fast food may save time, but over the years, I've watched it steal far more. Health, energy, clarity, even joy. It trades moments of comfort for years of consequences, one meal at a time. In a country that moves at full speed, fast often wins. But winning doesn't always mean thriving. Number 13. The reality of life in Alaska. Alaska is a place people romanticize, a wild frontier of endless forests, towering mountains, and skies painted with colors you can't find anywhere else on Earth. They imagine solitude, peace, adventure, and they're not wrong. But beauty here walks hand in hand with hardship. The land does not forgive easily, and it does not bend for anyone. I remember stepping off a small plane in a remote village where the wind cut through my coat like a blade. Temperatures in winter can fall to 40 degrees below freezing, cold enough to numb your thoughts if you stand still too long. For 2 months, the sun doesn't rise, and in summer, it refuses to set. Time becomes slippery in Alaska, bending around nature's will rather than human routine. People think living here is cheap because the state pays residents a yearly dividend from oil and gas profits. But the truth is the opposite. Everything costs more. A gallon of milk can reach $20. Fresh produce travels by air, not road, because more than 80% of communities have no road access at all. Your neighbors might arrive by snowmobile, your children might go to school by boat, and your groceries might fly in on a tiny plane landing on gravel. The wilderness itself feels alive, sometimes too alive. Moose wander across roads as casually as pedestrians in a city. Brown bears roam near backyards, occasionally resting near playgrounds. I once spoke with a school principal who said staff must check the grounds each morning to ensure no bear decided to nap near the swings. Here, survival is not a metaphor, it's a daily practice. But Alaska also holds a strange kind of peace, one you can't find in the lower 48 states. The silence is so complete, it feels sacred. The air is sharp, honest. The landscapes stretch far enough to make your worries feel small. People here learn to depend on each other because the land demands it. And in that dependence, they forge bonds stronger than steel. Alaska is breathtaking, yes, but it is also unforgiving. A place where nature rules and humans adapt or leave. It is beauty with shadows, a paradise shaped by danger. A reminder that the most stunning places on Earth often come with the steepest price. Number 14. Hidden fees everywhere. There's a particular kind of surprise you experience in America. The moment you realize the price you agreed to pay isn't the price you'll actually pay. It happens everywhere. Hotels, restaurants, ticket booths, rental cars, even the smallest online purchases. A number is advertised boldly, confidently, almost proudly. But beneath that number lies a collection of smaller ones, fees tucked away like tiny traps waiting to reveal themselves only when you're too deep in the process to turn back. I once booked a modest hotel room in Nevada for $100 a night. A fair price, I thought, for a place that looked simple enough. But when I checked out, the bill had grown by nearly 40%. Resort fees, facility fees, service fees, taxes layered like geological strata, and a charge for amenities I never touched. A gym I never entered, a pool drained for maintenance, a business center consisting of an old computer sitting lonely in a corner. In America, prices behave like illusions. They look solid from far away, but they shimmer and shift as you move closer. Buy show tickets online, and you'll meet a convenience fee, which somehow charges you more for doing the work yourself. Pay a bill, and there's a processing fee, a service charge, a handling charge, as if bits of digital information required manual labor to carry. And tipping has evolved into something else entirely. Touchscreens now ask for 20% before you've even received anything. I once watched a tourist stare at his receipt for a $5 coffee that had become $7. His eyebrows lifted slowly, the way people react when they sense they've just been initiated into a secret they never asked to join. For locals, this is normal. For visitors, it feels like a riddle they keep losing. And the saddest part is that no one is really trying to deceive anyone. The system has simply grown this way, piecemeal, fragmented, filled with tiny additions that, over decades, turned into a culture. an invisible iceberg beneath every number you see. America is one of the few places on Earth where the listed price is not a promise. It's an opening negotiation. And once you learn to expect the hidden fees, you start to realize they're not just monetary. Sometimes they're emotional, too. Number 15. The Ghost Towns of America. America has many abandoned places. Factories, train stations, motels fading into the desert wind. But nothing quite compares to its ghost towns. Places where people once built lives, raised children, shared dinners, argued, laughed, and then vanished, leaving behind buildings still standing but stories cut short. I remember walking through Centralia, Pennsylvania, where the earth itself breathes smoke. The ground feels warm beneath your boots, warm in a way that makes your instincts recoil. Deep underground, a coal fire has been burning since 1962, longer than some people live. The air carries a metallic scent, and thin wisps of steam drift through cracks in the pavement like the town is exhaling its last memories. Once, 1,000 people lived here. Today, only a handful remain. Houses sit empty, slowly being reclaimed by weeds and silence. Road signs lean as if tired of pointing to places no one goes anymore. They say the fire could burn for 5 more centuries, 500 years of quiet devastation beneath what used to be a community. Then there's Picher, Oklahoma, a town swallowed not by flames, but by poison. For decades, it was a hub of lead and zinc mining, an industry that built livelihoods but left behind mountains of toxic waste. Hills of contaminated dust, hundreds of feet high, rise like unnatural dunes. When the wind blows, the dust travels through streets where children once played. The water turned orange, the soil turned deadly. Eventually, the place itself became unlivable. I walked through Picher on a cloudy afternoon. The silence was thick, and the sky hung low, as if it didn't want to look directly at what humanity had done. The buildings felt hollow, and the air carried a caution you could taste. Most residents left years ago. The town was dissolved. Some places on the map disappear quietly. This one vanished with a warning. These ghost towns are not just abandoned. They are reminders of ambition that ran too fast, of progress without caution, of the thin line between prosperity and ruin. If you ever stand in a place where civilization once thrived and now crumbles, you feel something shift inside you. A realization that every empire, every company, every dream, no matter how confident, has a shadow. And some shadows are deep enough to swallow entire towns. When I look back on these 15 shadows of America, I don't see a nation failing. I see a nation revealing itself, honest in its contradictions, vulnerable in its excess, human in its imperfections. For every tent city I've walked through, I've also met a stranger sharing food with someone who had nothing. For every paradise priced beyond reach, I've seen communities fighting to reclaim their land. For every noise-filled city, I've found a quiet porch where someone still watches the sunset with gratitude. Light and darkness have always shared the same ground. And America is no different. Traveling through this country for decades has taught me one thing above all. Beauty and struggle often grow from the same soil. The places that break your heart can be the same places that open your eyes. And the stories we avoid are often the ones we most need to face. If tonight's journey has shown you something new, or reminded you of something you once knew, consider joining me for the next road, the next hidden corner, the next story waiting quietly in the shadows. Subscribe to Fascinating Discoveries, share this video with someone who might need it, or simply stay a little longer and follow the playlist now appearing on your screen. Every watch, every share, every quiet moment you spend here helps these stories travel further than my feet ever could. I'm grateful you walked beside me through these darker edges of America. And before we part, let me leave you with a truth I've carried for years. Maybe the world hasn't changed. Maybe only the way I see it has. Thank you for being here. May your path be gentle and your night be kind.